Etihad 11 Bravo, cleared immediate takeoff, runway 31 left from Echo 15, surface wind is 28010 knots, airborne radar 128.1. Etihad A350, surface wind 28012 knots, cleared to land 31 left.
Cleared to land, copy here on the Major 2.
Positive climb? Gear up.
And tower south, Alpha 6, Alpha Whiskey Foxtrot, Foxtrot 3.
Tango 7 Charlie Zulu Whiskey, contact UAE Center 120.9.
Auto thrust, check.
Etihad 11 Bravo, heavy Abu Dhabi radar contact at climb unrestricted, flight level 150.
Climb unrestricted, flight level 150, Etihad 11 Bravo.
15,000 blue. Checked. Flap 0, speed checked. Flaps 0. And the climb was unrestricted, AFL, so open climb. It's checked. After takeoff climb checklist? After takeoff climb checklist, down to the line, completed.
UAE Center, Assalamu alaikum. Good morning, Etihad 11 Bravo Heavy, passing altitude 6,900, climbing flight level 150.
Etihad 11 Bravo, alaikum salam, radar contact, cleared November 563, climb flight level 160.
Transition level? Standard? Standard set, cross-checked, passing flight level 136. Now. Checked. Flight level 160 blue. It's checked.
Morning, Etihad 11 Bravo Heavy, flight level 340, approaching Lorno.
So now we are approaching an area with some thunderstorms, some CB clouds, and we can see them obviously on our weather radar, but now let's see also on our electronic weather awareness and avoidance solution system or application. Makes it very easy for us here to switch, because all our screens here for the electronic flight pack, for the onboard information system, are touch screen. So I select this application and we see the moving map has been updated, and this is also visible not only here on our weather radar, on the navigation display, on our vertical display, but as well on our EVAS display, which will help us obviously for our long-term planning of the mission. So, Mohammed, would you please be so kind, can you request up to 30 miles to avoid this CB? Check.
And Etihad 11 Bravo, request 30 nautical miles left of track due to weather.
Etihad 11 Bravo, deviation is approved.
Deviation is approved, Etihad 11 Bravo.
Deviation approved, Captain. Thank you. Welcome. Heading. And I select a heading to avoid this. And we will be upwind of this cloud. 285. Check.
Turkish 22 Echo, UK. 111, we are able now, that's Reynolds. Red Kilo, Roger. clear to
136-625, גולל על 386.
negative 136-650. Speed restrictions, class 2 for level 2, 7010, 8121.
Lucia 17 Mike Whiskey, contact 13478, south.
Milano 122730.
So we are approaching now the North Atlantic, our boundary. As a matter of fact, it's still approximately 90 minutes away, but this is the boundary now for us, or the limit to ask already for the oceanic clearance. As you know, the North Atlantic high and low airspace is a special airspace environment which crews need to be specifically trained, aircraft has to be equipped, and this is all the requirements we do fulfill. And hence now for the North Atlantic it's important that you can enter this airspace with a clearance. So now we checked our oceanic entry area is via Shenwick. So we will request now the clearance via Shenwick. Beforehand, Mohammed, you confirmed it already. You saw that, right? So I'll just send it now.
Affirm, it's confirmed.
Mohammed, you have control for a second. I prepared a handover to Sanjay.
Sure, I have control and communication.
Sanjay, welcome back. How was your rest? Okay, I just fill you in. From our cabin status, it's all normal, all the passengers are happy, and so is the crew. Also, half of the crew is now taking their rest. We just received our oceanic clearance. Our oceanic clearance is not exactly like we requested. As you've seen here, it's from Etihad, Natrak Golf, Mach point 85, but our request was 380. We got our clearance for 370. So please keep an eye later on that we have the correct estimate at 1403 that was given, and you have to arrange your climb to flight level 370. Technical status is unchanged. I believe you saw that before you left to your rest. And there was no change. We had to avoid a few CBs on our route, but as you noticed, it was a smooth flight so far. Currently, we are both on VHF and on CBTLC with Bordeaux. I checked already the alternate weather at the moment for Shannon and later on for Halifax for our ETOP section. That looks all okay. So, if you don't mind, you have control, and ATC, I change.
Cockpit, I have control.
Alright, so yep, my name is Sanjay. My story started in aviation when I was 18 years old. I did my CPL training at that point of time. In fact, it was where we headed now. I did part of my training in US, in Fort Worth, Texas. Completed my CPL, got back to my home country at that time, which was India, and I was lucky to get a job prior to the time I was 20 years old, and I graduated as a first officer at the age of 21 on a Boeing 737-200, a very basic aircraft, nothing compared to what you see here today. I moved to Etihad Airways. I always wanted to come there earlier because I know it's a employee of choice. I love the multicultural environment here. I wanted to come earlier, but I waited for a few years to let my children finish their education and then move to Etihad. I've been in Etihad now over 10 years. Love flying this beautiful machine. I think we are very super excited. I have again in the training department over here. I'm working there in various roles. I've had various roles in the training department. And that's the long and short of my professional career.
Well, hi, I'm Rashid Al-Hosani, Senior First Officer on the A350-1000 that we're flying today. I started my flying career with Etihad from the beginning as a cadet program. I joined in the year of 2009. Managed to finish my CPL license and a frozen ATPL in 2010. So it took me 1 year and a half. Let's say 2011 I started my type rating on the 320. And since then I flew as a first officer, the Airbus 320, 330, 340, 380, and now the 350.
Starting to prepare our final approach into JFK. We received the latest weather information. I prepared our FMS. Now for the landing, we are expecting an ILS approach on the runway 22 left or runway 22 right. These are the two runways which are currently in use in Kennedy. Before we start our briefing, Mohammed, did you check the box? Did you confirm my FMS entries?
Yes, I checked the box and I confirmed it.
Perfect. When we start our threat-based briefing, which threats did you identify before we commence our approach?
Starting from the arrival, what I'm thinking of, we might get some shortcuts depending on the traffic and the airport. So energy management could be a threat for us. Mm-hmm. And the ATIS reported some weather in New York, so weather-wise as well, it could be a threat for us. ATC, sometimes it's not clear.
ATC is not clear, so we do what we did in Abu Dhabi. In case we have any doubts, we will obviously confirm, or on the ground we will stop and confirm as well. On the ground, when we talk about the ground maneuvering and parking risks, we will obviously, I expect your guidance and your inputs when we are the taxiing. Sure. We know in JFK the taxiways are very narrow, so please make sure that I maneuver correctly. Sure. And advise me in case, let's say, our gate position is blocked or we have any kind of doubts. Let's check. You mentioned energy management. Very good. I expect during the arrival, I expect the descent clearance as per the chart, trade 240 and Caverton at 12,000 feet. So also for the energy management, I expect to intercept the ILS with flaps 1. And we will fly a decelerated approach to be latest configured at 1,500 feet above aerodrome level.
Etihad 11 Bravo, cross Calverton 12,000, 250 knots, Kennedy altimeter 3014.
New York,
American 1327, 4000.
Etihad 11 Bravo Heavy, heading 260, descend maintain 5000.
Heading 260, descend maintain 5000, Etihad 11 Bravo.
With 14 Echo Heavy, near deferred kilo, turn, expect now, 22 left.
We have a kilo, 122 left, maintaining 12 south. This one for Echo Heavy.
With 1 for Echo Heavy, thank you. Squawk 1554. County 13 Heavy, left 310.
Etihad 11 Bravo Heavy, Kennedy Tower 1200 at 11, runway 22 right, clear to land, 1 departure right to arrival.
Gear on. Landing gear.
Right.
$2,500.
Race check.
100 above.
Let's check. Check.
Kennedy Tower, get up to JFK 602, ILS 22.
Minimum.
Continue. Check.
1769, 6 mile final, runway 22 right, line for wait, course right turbulence.
Let him wait for 1769.
602, Kennedy Tower, wind 200 at 11, runway 22 left, clear to land.
80.
22 left, go to land.
70. 60. 50. 40. 30. 20. Retard.
Spoilers. Reverse green, BTV diesel.
Hello everyone, welcome back to this A350 cockpit of Etihad Airways. We are now going to fly today after this brief layover from JFK back to Abu Dhabi, and together with my first officer Rashid and our relief crew Holger and Muhammad, I want to welcome you on board. My name is Sanjay, and we have already completed our cockpit preparation in accordance with our procedures. We have done few checklists already to make sure for this flight, to make sure everything is already prepared, ready. We are waiting for the last few passengers to board, and we'll now be doing our briefing very soon. So we do our emergency briefing first and then some thread-based briefing, and as we do that, why don't you join us and observe what we do?
Sure.
So Rashid, have you checked the FMS?
Yeah, I've looked into the box. I'm happy with everything. We discussed a few things throughout the way of the preparation.
Yeah.
So I'm ready.
Okay. Excellent. So should we do the emergency brief first?
Let's go.
Okay, so runway news today is 13 right. Any failure before V1 of 172, I'll call stop off go. If the call is stop, I'll simultaneously apply max reverse, max braking, bring the aircraft to a stop. Set the parking brake. We were over here in this position in the international apron on stand number 2. We were given instructions to push back all the way to position number 12. We started our engines over there and then immediately did a very tight turn
onto the taxiway hotel, and then did a little bit of a curve turn into Bravo, taxiway Bravo. I'll show you where that is. So when you see it over here, we push back basically this way, hotel, Bravo, and then took Bravo all the way up to here, and then moved into Papa and went all the way to Papa Foxtrot to depart from there. So lined up, and we had already received instructions for departure clearance that after departure we are to climb on heading 155. So if you see over here, the standard departure out of New York is to climb on heading 139, but it initially gave us a heading of 155, which is more towards in this direction. Once we got airborne, then we again took a left turn towards the track. As you would have noticed that we were departing at night, but now we are cruising at this point of time over the Atlantic Ocean, and the sun is up. But by the time we start our descent again into Abu Dhabi, it will again be night, and we'll be doing a night approach and landing into Abu Dhabi.
Welcome back now also for us as a relief crew. We took over. Captain Sanjay and First Officer Rashid are now having their rest. Now me and Mohammed are taking care of the aircraft. Our duties on the relief crew is now to monitor the flight progress. So after the North Atlantic we had landfall in Ireland. And then we flew over Manchester. Now we are just about to approach Amsterdam. So our remaining flight time to Abu Dhabi is going to be roughly 6 hours. We monitor our routing. Today goes after Amsterdam to Germany, just north of Frankfurt. So it's a little bit far away from my hometown Schifferstadt, and then we continue over the eastern part of Europe, over Turkey, Iran to Abu Dhabi. As I said, that will take us 6 hours. Now we are monitoring the aircraft systems periodically, like mainly the engines. If we see a trend, for example, an increased fuel consumption, which is not the case today. Later on, as our aircraft rate decreases due to the fuel consumption, we are planning a step climb from at the moment 37,000 feet to later on 39,000 feet. Mohammed, what are you doing at the moment?
So at the moment I'm tracking the flight by keeping the ATC communication and checking the flight progress, as Captain Holger mentioned, by checking the fuel burn and the fuel on board, and as well checking if the timing gets matching for what we're having. And if there is any change in the flight, if we are changing, for example, the flight levels or directing to any waypoints as well, I keep checking the progress of the flight plan, if it's matching or we're going to reach ahead or behind the timing. And as well by the checking the fuel on board and fuel burning, that could lead us to take our attention to many cases if we are expecting to have a fuel leak or any cases like that. So this is the main points of the flight plan.
And obviously during the cruise we constantly run scenarios, as in what if we would have a sick passenger, or what would if if we would have an engine failure, that we are constantly updating ourselves about potential alternate aerodromes, like Amsterdam at the moment, later on Frankfurt. So depending on the severity, we would have different criteria, suitability of the aerodrome, depending on the nature of the abnormal or emergency.
One Bravo Quebec, contact radar 1257.
1257, confirm Etihad 1 Bravo Quebec.
Etihad 1257.
Etihad.
On the glide slope, go around 4000 set. Cross checked.
And the gear down, please.
$2,500.
8 miles, reducing 160.
Checked.
Landing checklist.
Cabin ready. Started earlier, yeah. Checked. Cabin crew.
Advised.
Auto thrust.
Speed.
Auto brake.
DTV blue.
And runway condition.
Dry 6.
Landing checklist completed.
Thank you.
Clearance to come.
Check.
Echo 4 and follow green, Etihad 301.
Can you ask him to reduce the intensity of the approach lights?
And it's Etihad 47 November, can you reduce the approach light intensity? Thanks.
Speed managed.
Checked.
Clear to land, 31 left, Etihad 47 November, short.
1,000.
Autopilot off.
Checked.
Approach 1.
Checked.
Surface winds he said was?
3408.
Wind check to land, right?
Wind 360 degrees, 7 knots.
3607.
Clear to land, right?
Yeah, affirm.
Check.
$500.
Stable.
Checked.
Re-reversed.
100 above.
Checked.
$80, 70, 60, 50, 40, 30, 20, retard.
Spoilers. Reversers are green. Diesel.
Welcome to Abu Dhabi. We hope you enjoyed the trip from Abu Dhabi to JFK and back here to Abu Dhabi with us. It was a pleasure having you on board on our Airbus A350, and we hope to see you soon again. Thank you.